Okay, I'm going to show y'all what a regular day looks like for me and how I cut my stuff on my laser. So here's my computer. Here's the Valentine set files right here. There's 3 sets on one board, okay? So this is my laser over here. So I'm going to open up the lid. Now, I only cut about 23 by 23, okay? If y'all can see that, I've got this thing around my neck so y'all can see it. Now, my bed will cut bigger than that, but I only cut this big because I can cut the boards down from an 4x8 sheet of plywood. I could cut it bigger, but due to the warpage in the board and that kind of thing, I just do it smaller, plus I can handle it better. So here's the piece of wood, okay? And I'm going to set it over into the bed of the laser, okay? So this has a honeycomb. If you can see down into the cracks, it's a honeycomb, so little pieces fall down in there and they get caught on a tray at the bottom. But anyway, so sometimes the wood is kind of poking up a little bit because we know wood's all not straight. And I have to use these little clamps and hold my board down to the honeycomb so it does it flat. And I'm going to put one down here. Sorry y'all for the bad angle, but this is around my neck and it's kind of hard, but I wanted to show y'all what I do all day long. So I'm putting another one down here. I put it as close to the edge as I can get because I don't want to cut them with my laser. So I'm going to do another one right here. Okay, so now it's flat to the honeycomb, okay? So there's my wood, there's my laser head over here. So I go over here and I have to move my little laser into place, and y'all see that there's a little red dot, and that little red dot's not the actual laser, it just shows me where the laser is going to be. So I have to use these controls right here and move it back and forth to get that dot right where I want it. Okay, so then I hit origin right here, and so it's going to stay in that position. Okay, so it knows that's the edge of my board. Then I have to go back over here to my computer, and I'm going to hit a little button. Let me turn it back onto I have 2 lasers going, so I have to go back and forth between the 2. Okay, so I'm going to hit this frame button, and it's going to tell the laser to frame out where the design is going to be on the board, okay? And that just lets me know if I'm going to cut off the board, off of the board or not. So it's real close to the edge over on this side. So I'm going to adjust it just a little bit when it gets back to where it goes. So that's just framing out the design of where it's actually going to cut. So I got to adjust my little thing over here so I can move my beam with my little controllers right here. I'm just going to move the beam over just a hair, and then I have to come back over here and I have to hit this frame a little button, so it's going to frame it again. So here it goes, and it's just like I said, it's just like a guide to let me know that it's going to stay on the board. And everybody has their way of doing this, but this is just how I do it. I hope I'm not making y'all seasick. Okay, so we're ready to go. So now I'm going to shut the lid, okay, so I can see through the glass. I know there's a reflection from the window, but so then I come over here. I make sure all my settings are right here, and I'm going to hit start. And so it sends it to the laser via this Ethernet cord. I could do it, USB, Bluetooth, all that stuff, but it's just better just to use the cord. So it starts its thing. Trying to get where y'all can see it. So it scores all the lines first, and then it will begin the cutting process. So this file right here is going to take about 15 minutes. I can go over here to my computer, and I can hit a little button up here, and it will tell me, oh, it's actually 21 minutes and 28 seconds. to do 3 of these sets. So this is the Valentine's tiered tray set. And so it takes me 21 minutes and 28 seconds just to cut it. That's not counting loading the wood and getting the design straight on the wood, etc., etc. So that's just how long the laser time is. So I have to sit here and watch, okay? So now we're gonna let that be, and I'm gonna go over here to my Mira. This is my other laser. This one's already cut, it's finished. So now I'm gonna come over here, I move the laser head out of the way and lift the lid. This is a different laser. This is a Aeon Mira 9. And this is a Thunder 35 100. So here's the little, I have these little clips in place. Some of them I cut on the laser out of the wood, and some of them I've bought from people who have 3D printers like this. Anyway, so I'm gonna move those, get those out of the way, and now we're gonna lift out the wood that we do not want. Sometimes pieces kind of hang, depending on if there's glue in the wood, like the beginning and start of where it starts cutting. Sometimes it won't cut all the way through, so I have to just sit here and push the pieces through. All these little pieces. Like I said, this is 3 Valentine sets. So when you get yours in the mail, so see that piece didn't cut all the way through, so I just kind of help it on out. So then I come over here and I have a stack of wood, and my boys come out here and move this for me. We take it to our camp on the river, and we usually burn it in our fire pit. It's real good firewood. Okay, so now I have all these pieces. This is 3 whole sets. So when I tell you that I actually touch every piece that you have, you can see that I actually touch every piece that you get. More than once, usually. All these little hands and hearts and all this stuff. So I figure out how I'm gonna stack all this up to ship. When I first cut a set and I start getting it off the bed of the laser, I kind of, that one goes with that set. I kind of, figure out the best way to, and like all these little pieces like this that that are the negatives, I have a bucket over here, and that's where they go. Those go into the fire pit too. They're all little bitty pieces. But anyway, when I first start cutting a new set, I have to figure out this, how I'm going to package it for safe travels in the mail. So I have to figure it out, and then when I'm taking it off the laser bed, I stack it up just like it needs to be wrapped. Okay, so there's one. So you'll see how long it takes just to do one set. So now I'm starting on the other, but like I said, after you've done it a few hundred times, I could probably stack all this up in my sleeve with my eyes closed, pretty much. It's because I've done it so much, with this set. And then when I have to start another set, I have to figure out the best way to kind of stack it all. So it won't get broken in transit. That's my object. I put all the little bitty delicate pieces, I kind of sandwich them in between things so they will stay safe when they're in the mail, because I know that they throw those packages around like bags of potatoes. So all the little pieces kind of go together. See, I kind of sandwich them in between, so that little gnome, he's going to go on there and he's going to keep that safe. Just like that. Alright, there's number 2. So every once in a while I kind of peep over here and look, make sure we're doing good, everything's good, I don't have a fire or anything. Because yes, you can have a fire with these lasers. So you have to watch. I have fire blankets. Let me get my camera where you can see. I have fire blankets right here just in case. I have one over there and I have one here. So if there was a fire, which I've only had it happen once, knock on wood, I would, you know, throw that blanket on there and put the fire out. I also have a CO2 fire extinguisher just in case, but I've never had to use it. I've never had to use the fire blankets either, so I'm very thankful for that. But it can happen. You can't walk away and leave these lasers by any means. So, because just the minute that you did, it would catch on fire. I have seen in some of my laser groups on Facebook, I have seen people, their house burned down because they walked off and left the laser. So see, every once in a while I have to come over here and make sure I'm good. I'm still cutting. Everything's great. But yeah, I've seen people, they've lost their house. They've lost, you know, everything because they walked off and left their laser running and didn't check on it, and it caught fire. As we all know, that's going to happen when you walk away. So then all these little pieces, I have, sorry if I'm making y'all sick, but I have this little thing from Dollar Tree, and I'll scoop all these little pieces up on this one because this one has a lot finer of a honeycomb than that laser, than the other laser does. So things don't fall in between as much. So there's where I dumped that. So now, this one's cutting. Okay, come check on my baby every once in a while. Then I have to get down here on the floor. This is where I stack all the wood under there, if you can see. That's not all of it though, it's in my husband's shop and everywhere else. I bring a piece over here like this. Sometimes I have to flip it over. If it has knots and stuff like that, I'll make that the back. That one's got some kind of something on it. So I'm gonna grab me a, see what this is. And I don't like that piece of wood, so I'll use it for something else, like for me or just to test a file. So I'm gonna reach under here and get me another piece. And this one has a place on the front, but if it comes out in one of my pieces, I will usually recut that piece. Sometimes I get lucky and it will be in between something, but it's not that bad of a little blemish. All right, so same thing here. I have these little clips and I put them where I need to, where the board's not laying totally flat. Sometimes I don't need them at all. See, that side doesn't need it. But it just helps hold it in place. But even if I don't need it, usually I will still put one or two down. Just because, you know, you've got air blowing on these. Okay, so see, there's my little, I'm trying to find where I want to put it. And so I showed you on that one, sending the file to the laser every time. Once I send it to the laser once, it stays here in its little memory. So really all I have to do is hit frame. And this one's a little bit different. It goes a different direction. But I frame it out to make sure it is going to stay on my board. Let me check on this guy over here. I can't walk away too far. It's going good. So there we go. I know it's going to be on the board. Since it's already in my memory bank here, all I have to do is hit start, and there it goes. Off she goes. So that's cutting, and now I'm going to come over here and check on this one. It's about 3/4 of the way done. This one is just starting. So this is what I do, back and forth all day long. I walk on this path. I'm going to wear a hole right here in the floor. But then I have all these sets, okay? So let me step over this cord. And then I have these, okay? So I come here. This is like my little area where there's all my pictures from my retreat in Nashville. But here's my little area. This is my little stand. I have this saran wrap, and I wrap all my pieces like this. So who knows, this may be coming to your house. So like I said, I stack it up when it comes off the laser, just like I'm gonna wrap it. It saves me a little time. So I wrap those just like that. And this is my Glowforge that I'm actually doing this on top of. As you can see, it's not, I don't use my Glowforges anymore. They're a lot slower. It's a good machine. It's a good learning machine. But if you want to mass produce like this, it's not, you know, it's not time effective. Even though I did it a little while, but so there's all the ones I've wrapped. See, there's my Glowforge. Here's my other Glowforge. It's with stuff sitting on top of it. So anyway, so here's my little shipping station. I pull it over here when I ship packages. Checking on this one. It's doing pretty good. It's still scoring everything. So see that little blemish is going to be right on that gnome's hat. So I will not ship him. I will put him to the side, and I'll cut another gnome for this set, because I'm not going to send it out with that little knot in his hat. So he will be in the oops pile. So, and this wood looks different than that wood just because it's a different darker grain, but it's from a different piece. But anyway, so that's what I do. So when this one gets done, I'll take all the pieces off it. I'll load another piece of wood, and then this one will be done. And then I repeat the process. So I'm just constantly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So this is what I do. So I'll hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully I just didn't make you seasick, but this is what my day consists of most days. So thanks for watching, guys. One other thing I wanted to mention too is y'all probably wondering where the smoke goes that comes off of the laser beam. Well, air blows onto the laser itself, and it keeps it from charring the front part of the wood for the most part. Just cools off the beam. And so I have a fan. Here's one controller here, and the fan goes from that tube there, blows air out. This one has the fan here, and then the tubes come around the laser and they go outside. You can see the smoke there. So it exhausts it to the outside. So in these little blast gates I can close when I'm done so the air won't come in and things like that. So that's where the smoke goes.